done a podcast. Why? Well, 2020 has been a horrible year for everyone. However, I've had a rough couple of years of feeling unhappy and a bit lost in my life. At the start of 2020, I wrote a list of things I felt was missing in order to try and find myself again. A couple of themes began to show, which included music, a creative outlet, and connections. Hence, a podcast came to mind. Hip Hop Choices podcast was the idea that seemed to fit. 2020 made the progression of this idea slow. Nevertheless, I kept working at it in any moment where the world didn't feel like it was ending. The idea is to chat with people from all backgrounds, all levels of interest in hip hop and that genre of music, to show how rich and diverse the genre is and celebrate it. So, recording an episode. With all the crap going on, I decided to do something positive and proactive and try to end the year on a high. I really hope you enjoyed the first episode. Thanks for listening. So, welcome to Hip Hop Choices podcast. My name is Nick. I am the host. This is the first episode, so we're not sure how this is going to go, but we're going to give it a good go. We're working on a tagline. It is called Hip Hop Choices from Assorted Voices. I don't know if that's bars or not, but I'm going to try that. Anyway, not much going on in the world of hip hop news, I would say, that I can remember over the last few days, but we're in lockdown, so it's pretty much that's all it. But anyway, I'm going to introduce you to my first guest, which is my brother, Gavin. Say hello.
Hello.
So I, picked you two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, you're my brother, and you couldn't say no.
I couldn't say no at all. No.
No. Second reason is we both grew up in the same house, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, not obviously, but we grew up with the same kind of musical background from our parents.
Yeah.
And we both, I would say, discovered hip hop or rap at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But we've both gone on a bit of a different journeys with our music tastes and interests. I thought it'd be really good to get your viewpoint of where your like hip hop choices are and what you're listening to. So, describe to me like your relationship with hip hop and rap.
I don't know. It's quite a difficult one because I feel like obviously I love it. It's probably something that I listen to the most, but then also I do listen to other things because I feel like it's had an influence just like any other. Well, it's had a massive influence over the last maybe let's say 10, 15 years, just especially within Britain as well. But it's had a massive influence on me of shaping what I do. I listen to it before. I listen to it driving. I listen to it walk around the house. I'll listen to it when obviously I've played sports. I've listened to it to get me up for games. I've put it in into presentations before. I put it in everything. So it's a bit of a soundtrack sometimes to life for me, but it's a love for it. I wouldn't say it's a love-hate relationship at all, but there's some things that at times I'm okay, especially when I know we'll come on to it when maybe it's a bit diluted by other maybe sometimes other artists that don't really kind of compliment it or either trying to jump on it because it's really popular at times. But I understand that's the influence it has and that's the draw it could have.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, we'll come on to that a bit later. But yeah, for me, my early part of my life, it was definitely much my soundtrack. I don't know if you remember, like, we would make CDs for mum and for her parties. And you were like, none of the explicit ones.
I always remember one of the CDs you made for one of the Rose Fairs. And listen, this CD was the one. I think it had like LL Cool J on it and stuff like that. And we spent hours trying to not find. Mum was like the word sexy can't be in it. Like any reference to a woman's body cannot be in it. And it was so hard to find some things because I feel like a lot of the rap was sometimes about their experience in life, and a lot of rap was about women and stuff like that and their experiences, and that is part of what they experience. But yeah, we used to either download music, try and put it on CDs, then write on the CDs what they were, and then try and sneak it into mum or dad's car to play in it, or play it on dad's stereo downstairs.
Yeah.
So it was a big influence on that. Obviously, as well, we had like NTV Bass, and that was, other than the radio, that was really. And to be honest, I don't think the radio, we didn't really have it. We was more, I think mum was listening to like Capital,
Yeah.
and then
Chris
we had
Tarrant in the
then Chris
morning.
Torrent, but then we always had the bits of Choice FM. So the bits of Choice FM we had was like, right, we're hearing, this is what we want to hear, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But we had bits of MV Bass, and obviously when our
Yeah.
cousins used to play sometimes music, or bring videos around of recorded MTV Bass,
Yeah.
that was our early bits of hip hop.
Yeah. Yeah. So, explain to me, what was your draw to it? Like, there was obviously, driving in mum's car, there was various different music going on, and
Yeah,
obviously,
and obviously
mum and dad being
obviously
from Jamaica, there's like
obviously dad's
soca and
car, obviously dad's car was just different. Dad's car was
yeah,
just a blend of everything.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I think the draw for me from hip hop was more like, for me, any song that I hear, I don't know, I always listen to the beat. The beat has to catch me first, and that's always been it. It's always just been the beat, the rhythm, and all the instruments in it, and what comes in, all the sample. I
mm,
really like samples. When I hear a sample, I'm like, oh yeah, that's from such and such, and that's always drawn me. And then I think then it's obviously then the lyrics and the content, how they're delivered, and how obviously what wordplay and stuff like that. And then obviously the person does matter, but at the same time, those are the first bits that drew me. I think massively growing up, it was the culture, and it was about what hip hop was. It was a bit glamorous,
mm,
and stuff like that. And they had the clothes, they had the image, and it was. I think it was that bit of confidence as well. It just looked confident. Like, it just, the rap scene that they were expressing themselves, it looked confident. So you find yourself rapping in the mirror, and acting like the person as well, and wearing your
yeah,
clothes like them. So the culture has a big influence on, especially I think for us as young black boys growing up as well. You saw people do things on TV, and you think, oh wow, they're doing it, they look like us. And I think that was the only arena where people looked like us, and was they weren't playing a character, they were being themselves. Like, when obviously you kind of look, obviously we watched the Fresh Prince of Bel Air and stuff like that, but it was always a bit of, he's acting.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Whereas where rap and hip hop was, they're expressing their views and stuff like that. So I think obviously you do go to the people and the culture, but I think for me, whenever I hear a song, it's always a beat catches me, and then obviously then I see, right, do the lyrics fit the beat, and how they, what their style of rap is. Are they doing a 2 bar, are they doing 4 bar, or if they're a duo, are they going back to back? So that's for me what I was always drawn to for early on.
yeah. I would say the same. I think one of the key things after I've been thinking about it a while is that they were people that looked like us, young black men who were living a lifestyle that not a lot of black men experienced at that time,
Mm,
and they were talking about stuff that we didn't grow up. We're not, we're not the. I think our parents, especially mum,
mm,
steered us directly away from the the negatives that could have happened in our life.
hmm
But we saw people that did those things.
hmm
But those were people. They were still speaking about real life. I think
mm,
we couldn't relate to any other genre of music. That's
hmm
what I found anyway. Do you remember your earliest like hip hop rap experience?
um you know,
I
earliest,
know mine. I'll let you go first and see if it's the
I
same.
think, um earliest hip hop rap, um I don't really know, I think there's a lot of things in my head, but I'm trying to think timeline wise of, of- I think the only thing, obviously, with this thing as well with hip hop and rap, is there's a very specific thing about hip hop and rap, is then what do people define as hip hop and rap? Um, I don't know why the earliest memories I have is Busta Rhymes, and I don't know why.
Okay.
I really don't
So
know why, but the Busta Rhymes. But then I also remember owning a Will Smith album as well.
yeah,
But that's not
exactly.
hip hop. It's, for me, it's not hip hop. It's not, so it is hip for me. Like rap hip hop is more. It's the more Sugar Hill Gang, and not hip. That's more rap actually. But hip hop's more. It can be infused with R&B. Do you know what I mean? Whereas rap was just rap. So
Yeah,
my earliest memories, it was the Will album, which I remember it's like a black album. It's got green on it and stuff like that. But I really think for me, I really started to like hip hop. I just loved the energy of Busta Rhymes, like the Woo Ha video, um, Got You All in Check, like that whole video. Which one of you stole my flow? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Like that, the whole like he just looked like he was having fun, but he had just it was just infectious to me. And I remember having Genesis. I remember having these albums, and I've listened to it, and just like I remember it being my alarm once as well. And I was thinking, why would you want Busta Rhymes as your alarm? But it was
It got you hyped though.
yeah, it got me hyped. And even I think a couple of weeks ago, I heard Give Me Some More, and like even the whole eeriness, like that whole bit of Give Me Some More, like, and the beat of Give Me Some More, and then like, he's got so many for me. Busta Rhymes again in hip hop and rap is I think now the generation don't really see him as a person that was, but in the 90s and early 2000s, he was that guy. He was energy. So for me, I'd still say yes, the Millennium album is there. But for me, I think for me, I really started to like rap and hip hop a bit more when I first started listening to Busta Rhymes and stuff like that. And early on, probably around year 5, year 6. Yeah, probably about year 5, year 6. I remember year 5 he released was it year 6 now? Year 6 he released Baby If You Give It To Me with Mariah Carey. I remember that song as well. I remember like, I was in Pendarren on the school chat. I remember hearing it and I was like, this is a tune. But then it made me then go and research him as an artist, and I was thinking, oh, he's got something. And I remember seeing him on MTV Base, and I was thinking, they do like artist hits, and I was just like, yeah, this is my guy. So early on, obviously I know the questions you're gonna ask me on it, but you already know, but he'll be in there for me.
Yeah. So my earliest memory of hip hop is also Will Elliam, and I thought it'd be the one that you'd be like, I was like, that is not, if anyone thinks of a hip hop answer, Will Elliam is not in their top,
No.
their first albums. But that's the other.
He
I think
is
Mum let us buy it because it wasn't.
Let Us Buy it because it was fun rap. It was it was
it's hip hop light.
Hip hop light, yeah. If you go to the bar, wow, what do you want? Hip hop. No, you'd want the full fat hip hop, but we got hip hop light, hip hop zero. That's what we got.
Yeah, and Busta Rhymes was one of them, the earliest ones I can remember. Ludacris as well.
Yeah. Ludacris, yeah.
Fabulous.
Oh, Fabulous. Street Dreams.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I remember.
I think I've still got that CD. I've still got it somewhere.
Yeah. And Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP. That's the one. Those are my 4 earliest, but definitely Will Elliam was there.
Will Elliam was there because mum wanted us on that hip hop zero.
Yeah. So we're gonna go into the next section, which is Tupac or Biggie.
You know what? Right, I think it's difficult. I have to. For me, I if I go off my don't plug Apple Music, but you might have to screech them out. If I go off what I have in my music library, I have got more Biggie. Now, I'm not saying I don't like Tupac. I'm not saying I don't like Tupac because I've got a lot of Tupac in there. But I've got more Biggie because I don't know why I wouldn't say it's like a Messi Ronaldo thing. It's not the fact that either of them are bad. It's just the fact that I've got more of one person, so I would have to lean towards I'd have to lean towards what's it called, Biggie, just because I've got more of it. I'm trying to remember the album. What's the album?
Life After Death? Or...
Yeah, I think it is Life After Death. Do you know what I always remember? I always remember the Missing You video. Yeah. And I just remember thinking, I was thinking, why am I emotional about this? I think it is the Life After Death one. I think it's got the hearse on it. And I remember either seen that in either Andrew's room or something like that. And I think, what? This looks a bit morbid. But I remember hearing like certain tracks, like I'm trying to think some of the tracks on there. I think it's got More Money, More Problems on there. Kicking the Door. I know it's got Kick It. What's Beef? Yeah. I think there's a couple What's Guys. So for me, I just like What's Beef, like the eeriness of What's Beef is just like it
Yes.
feels like someone's gonna go do a drive by. It
Yeah.
just feels like it. And obviously, I know they remade it with Meek Mill and Jay-Z and obviously Rick Ross
Yeah.
in it as well. Which again, it still has that impact.
Yeah.
But then I do like Tupac with like changes. What you gonna do for love? Hit me. Like, listen, it's a hard debate, but I would lean towards Biggie just because I've got more of him.
Do you think like so? Tell me, do you think it's because you earlier you said you like beats, you like the flow, you like the lyrics? I personally think Biggie rides the flow better than Tupac. I think that Biggie just seems like a natural to me, and that's why maybe why you steer towards him a bit more. Do you think that's the case,
Um,
or tell me if it's different?
I'd say that Tupac definitely had lyrics, 100%. And I feel like it's difficult because I kind of want to say it in the context of what we have now. Like,
Mm,
you've got artists who will make absolute bangers, right? I feel
mm,
like Tupac has bangers. Don't get me wrong, Tupac has bangers as well. But Biggie, people remember a lot more Biggie songs because they were maybe more commercial or whatever. Whereas when you listen to Tupac, you actually feel that you think that, yeah, this guy's talking,
yeah,
he's hitting a nerve with certain comments. I feel like Biggie maybe sometimes did pass up on those things because he just rapped about what he knew. Whereas I think Tupac really pushed it and said, you know what, this is what I believe in at the moment. This is what's
yeah,
going on. This is what we're fighting for. I've got this bit, but it's that's the thing. I think Tupac did kind of maybe shape some of the artists coming through after him, like the Nas's, like even
mm,
like someone like Kendrick and J. Cole now, even though they will still say, but what they're talking about is they're talking about this is what's going on in the world right now. Like,
yeah,
you've got to do this, you know what I mean? So um yeah, I think I'd say for if I was going to say about obviously about what I've got more of, I would say um I have to go to Biggie. I don't know
yeah,
why,
yeah,
but I would have to go to Biggie. I just feel for me, I think there was more Biggie on um it was more Biggie on what's it called on like MTV Bass and stuff, and Tupac. I don't know why.
and the
I just feel like
radio and
there
stuff
was
like
more, so I kind of leaned to it more. And I think obviously as I've got older, I've gone into dive and got actually, you know what, I listened a bit more Tupac as well, but I would definitely say I got more Biggie.
that. Yeah. So, like, I think this is like a really defining question in someone's taste of hip hop, and it kind of or rap or whatever, and kind of if you prefer one, you kind of prefer one style of like
Mm,
like for me, hip hop is very much like what you could play in the club or like stuff like that, and
mm,
rap is very much a message behind what you're saying. And I think that's one of the things. Like, why do you think that comparison, that versus, has stood the test of time? Like they're they've been dead several years now, but it's still one of those questions that people always ask someone who likes or says, "I'm into hip hop, I'm into rap." They always go, "All right, Tupac or Biggie." Why do you think that's lasted so long?
I don't really know. It's hard to say why it's lasted the verse of time. I just think I I I don't want to obviously use obviously because they've passed, but that does sometimes hold a bit of weight because they passed and that everybody thinks what could have been. And I think their music is transcended through after death. It's still prominent now. What they're speaking about is still prominent now, and I think that's why, like, what Tupac was still speaking about. Obviously, we've seen what's happened this year. It still transcends to what people are struggling with now. What Biggie was talking about, people are still doing that now. So I think it's not a thing of he was rapping about something in um the 50. I think what they were speaking about, some of their core messages, is still transcendent. People still can relate to it. Um,
Mm.
and I think obviously it still transcends now because a lot of us now are maybe a little bit older and we now understand it more. We were probably like sevens or eights or nines, or even for me, I
Mm.
was about five at the time or
Yeah,
four at the time. So you now understand a bit more. And I think for the people who were around in that era, they're like, that's their classics.
yeah,
So I think it maybe in the next 30 years we'll be speaking about to our children and stuff like and trying to influence them, but it will still transcend because maybe obviously we'd hope for things like this year not to happen, but it still might transcend.
mm.
So people still might be talking about the same things. But I think that's for me, that's why. But I think listen, they're bangers, they're great artists. So I think
Mm.
if you're a great artist, I think music's timeless. Sometimes, and I think some of their
Yeah.
music is timeless.
yeah. So that I agree. I think there's still like Tupac is still talk about things that are still happening to this day, but also Biggie is still giving you that
Mm,
same kind of like uh, party kind of vibe that you still want to this day. Nothing's
mm.
changed in that kind of aspect of it. Um, where do you ever stand on like the other like big hip hop verses like Kanye or Jay Z? Where do you stand on that one?
I'm Jay Z. I'm Jay Z all day, every day,
see,
all, all,
see,
all day, every day. I listen. Kanye. I think for me, Kanye sonically, he tries to push the boundary with something like that, and he's created so many iconic,
mm,
or produced so many iconic beats and songs, and he's even written some or performed some as well that has
mm,
moved the genre forward and people how people sample, how people do things. Um, for me personally, I feel like he's gone a bit left for me
mm,
over the last couple of years. For whatever reason, I don't know. But um, yeah, I just think sonically he's gone a bit left for me. That's my personal opinion.
yeah,
But I would always go Jay Z because I just think Jay Z lyrically has just been on. Listen, you'll pay anything for Jay Z to be on a song, and he will
yeah,
come and he will just shell it. He'll do it. And I think some of Jay Z's songs on like lyrically, again lyrically, but I'll hold my hands up and I say My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is still one of the best albums. I remember hearing that album at uni and thinking this is just unreal. Like
mm,
but I will give props to Kanye. But if I was gonna vote, I'd go with Jay Z. If it was Jay Z or Nas,
mm,
I still go with Jay Z. Although Nas has some iconic songs as well. I think that Illmatic album is
yeah,
amazing. Um, although I do think AZ's verse, um, AZ's verse on "Life's a Bitch" is just one of the best verses
yeah,
ever
yeah,
to
yeah,
to do it. So like I can listen to that song all the time.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I think if we were going to talk about like who has the best verses on songs or stuff like that, but
mm,
we can get into that. But the other verses, I think the newer verses maybe a bit a bit different, like Foxy Brown, Little Kim. Um, I think the new ones are a bit more. I think
what about Nicki Minaj, Cardi B? Because that I think that's one of the newer ones that
um,
really got
I think for lyrically I'd go Nicki. I think for I'd go lyrically if you're just talking about lyrics, Nicki. Um,
yeah,
I think Cardi's just a fun all round person. She just doesn't care.
yeah,
Obviously to watch her come up is very different, but I just think yeah, I think I'd go lyrically. I'd just go for Nicki again. I think she's again
mm,
finding her way a bit. I think again, I think the other ones obviously springs to mind is like 50 Kanye. Um,
yeah,
and I, Kanye again, love Kanye. I think do you know what? I went to a 50 Cent concert. I think it was last year, and
yeah,
I have to say I didn't realize how many bangers he had. And I say this as
yeah,
well. Like I know obviously the tunes, um, but I think for me, he brought that. Everybody says, "Oh, rap music's this rap." He brought that real gangster rap to the commercial forefront.
yeah,
I think gangster rap was all we might sign
yeah,
you, we might not, or we will sign you, but we won't be playing you on mainstream. Like, do you know, he
yeah,
brought it
yeah,
and he just it was thrust in your faces. His,
yeah,
his his thing with G Unit, guerrilla unit. It's an army. It's like it's like,
yeah,
and he obviously the whole thing about him being shot. Now it was just he brought it to,
yeah,
and everybody wanted to be a gangster rapper like
yeah,
50 Cent, do rag, low cut jeans, boxes showing, chest out,
yeah,
pumping weights, tattoos. Listen, his album that like Get Rich or Die Trying, The Massacre, like his album titles were nuts.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
so, so he brought it really. Yeah, when you really think about it, his album titles were nuts. So you're thinking he's actually saying that this is me. You either these are my album things. Like is Get Rich or Die Trying. Like what? Like when like what? So I'm either rich, or I'm just gonna die. That is it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So like Bulletproof, I think it was one of them.
yeah, yeah,
So and the Massacre. So he really brought like these things that gangster rap. So I would say for what I think everybody. that we've mentioned have kind of moved the genre forward. I think
Yeah,
versus battles is always going to be what songs you kind of either what songs you
yeah,
remember in a moment, what songs kind of did for you.
yeah,
I think like the newer ones like Drake or Kendrick, if you're going for who's going to release straight bangers that everybody
yeah,
like, Drake doesn't seem to miss at the moment with songs because he
yeah,
just knows what people like, and it's not just he knows what Drake fans are like, but he knows what the masses are like. Whereas for me, if I'm looking about hip hop and rap and stuff like that, Kendrick wins hands down. Um,
mm,
Good Kid, Mad City is one of my favorite albums because
yeah,
it's just I can listen to it all through.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is one of the artists that you put on verses are because they have pushed the genre forward, like Kendrick, Drake. They've all like whether we like 50 Cent, they've all pushed the genre forward in their own way. With 50 Cent, I feel though is like he brought hip hop and rap to this forefront of this. He had a movie. He had like everything. He had trainer deals.
Mm,
He was like everywhere at one point. But what that also did is that if you ask anyone to do rapping, that's what they do. They do 50 Cent gangster rapping, which kind
mm,
of makes it seem like a parody
yeah,
when there's actually more to it than that. So he pushed it right into the mainstream,
mm,
and he
mm,
gave like certainly gave loads of people chances that they never would have got and pushed it forward again. But he also, it took a while to recover from that one dimensional gangster rap. And I don't think you get someone that breaks through in a different way until someone like a Kanye that isn't
yeah.
doing
No,
gangster rap
I
per se.
agree with that. I think people do go, um, I think people do go, oh yeah, this is they when they do rapping, they have an image of what they feel like a rapper is.
Mm.
Like there's artists now who rap and you go, they don't do that. But let's say it's on no like Loyal Corner, his name is. He
Yeah,
raps, but people wouldn't rap like him because they see an image of a rapper in the head of it. Oh, we've got a rapper on our lineup today. They're gonna think this is gonna be the rapper. They're not gonna think of conscious rap. They're not gonna think of sometimes the Def Jam poetry kind of rap kind of things. They're not gonna think of those things. So
they're not going to think of someone like Mac Miller,
yeah, yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah. They're not going to think of that. So I think I do agree with you in that context as well.
Yeah. So, like, we'll go into the next section, which is all killer, no filler, which I had to explain to you what that meant. So,
Yeah,
for
I
anyone
was
that
like,
doesn't know it,
what?
so all killers, no filler is like a term I've like here described. Like, literally, the album is, there's no filler tracks, there's no skits or sketches in it that bad it out. There's no like, I'll just put this track in. It's not really like good, like, but it go in there, and like, I'm really interested to know because for me, I think we're shifting towards like obviously streaming has had a massive effect on music, and
Mm.
it's all about you get your one banger and that's it. There's not many good albums, or there's not that album focus anymore, and like album creation, it seems to be put on the back burner. It's all about in that one big hit. So what album can you listen to front to back without skipping?
Um, what album can I listen front to back without skipping? I'd say for me, the ones that really, really stick out in my head, again, as I said, good Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City.
Mm,
Um, and for me, Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap. I can listen to both of those albums.
mm,
Like, listen, as I said, I love Jay-Z, I love Busta
mm,
Rhymes and stuff like that. But those two albums for me, I can listen to like just over and over again. I think Nipsey Hussle's music for me gives
mm,
it not because obviously he made Victory Lap and stuff like that a long time before he obviously sadly passed.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I can listen to that album over and over again. To be fair, like
mm.
um, and obviously Good Kid, Mad City come again at a time where again I think I was at uni at the time as well. So, but yeah, I think yeah, no, I'd say those two
Yeah.
albums for me would be
So
the.
describe to me the reason behind kind of Good Kid, man. So what drew you into that album? What makes that album one that you can like literally
Do
put
you know what?
press play and,
For
not
me,
even look up to see what track it is? You just go like, yeah, that's it.
for me,
It's good.
I think with with Nipsey and Kendrick, for me, I think Kendrick can just tell a story through the album. He tells a story through, and you can visualize the album. So whenever you hear that song, you're like, right, I remember this song because I can visualize what he's saying, and he's able to stereo. So I always remember that the first song I heard of Kendrick was, I think it was Michael Jordan.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, this guy's alright. This guy's cool. Like he was different. The way he was rapping was just different.
Mm.
And I was thinking, oh yeah, this guy's cool. And obviously, I was just waiting for him to again drop more stuff and drop more stuff and drop more stuff. And then I heard, like, then he had like I don't know which one come first, Section 8 or OD. I think it's overly dedicated. But then when he dropped Good Kid, Mad City, it was just he just went to another level.
Yeah.
And it was just lyrically, he was just like, wow. And for me, he was able to tell a story through his rap. And that album, for me, he just encapsulates boom, boom, boom. It's a whole story, even with the sketches like Kenny
Mm.
and stuff like that. When like over his mum or his grand, like it's just brilliant. And then obviously he has some
Yeah.
bangers on there that everybody knows. But I think with Nipsey, like obviously Bishop got my vibe on that album as well. You've got to talk about that. Money Trees.
Yeah.
And then like obviously Mad City with just the beats on that and everything like that. The production is brilliant. And then obviously again with Nipsey Hussle, I just feel like for me when I listen to Nipsey Hussle, it just makes you sit there and you listen to the guy and you think, wow, this guy is amazing. And then you just think it just motivates you. His music is motivation to do better.
Yeah.
But obviously the lyrical content's there. So I think those two albums for me, I would say would be my favorite two. I think on that album, I'll say Money Trees, Backseat Freestyle, Money
Yeah.
Trees, and Mad City on that album. I think on Kendrick's album, Victory Lap's a little bit harder because so many songs on that album that
Yeah.
are so good. Um, and obviously, if anybody has listened to this and hasn't heard those albums, Victory Lap, or even I don't know how you haven't heard Good Kid, Mad City. Though, listen, Good Kid, what's it called? Victory Lap has Kendrick on it as well. Dedication,
Mm.
tune. Blue Laces 2, Hustle Motivate. But I can't name the best song on the album because every
Yeah.
song again is you listen to one song, you're like, I love this song, and then the next day you're like, no, I love this song. And I think that's what a good album needs to do. You can't just go, oh, I love this song off the album, because you'll just rinse that song. I think that
Yeah.
you've got to go through it and go, I love that, and this is, and sometimes different times or moments in your life, you go, oh, I need this song, I need this song.
Yeah.
And I think with Nipsey Hussle's music, it's got me through some bits where I think, oh, I'm a bit down today, and I've heard it and I thought, yeah, no, I'm grinding on my life, geez, as well. Yeah, so I think those two albums for me, I think those are the ones where like I've listened to Nipsey Hussle's before games, before I
Yeah.
played football, and it's just a little bit. Last time I checked, Jesus,
Yeah.
they're just coming out. Sorry, they're coming out.
I think that is the sign of a great album, that you can come back to it at any moment in your life and it will mean something to you. Um, I've have particular albums that do the same for me, and I listen to it one week and it means something different. Listen to it next week and it means something different, and I think that's why kind of like album creation is so important for me, because it's a story. It is really, and how you place an album, what tracks you pick, even down to like the album art cover. I think with the birth of SoundCloud rappers, and there's a massive pro to them coming about, massive pro. It engage more another kind of person, but it's also the downfall that you can come and go with one song and that be it, and that's that it becomes like for me, hip hop rap are people who have struggles finding a way to voice their struggles, and I
Yeah.
think you can't really voice who you are on one song. I think you can give someone an idea, but you can't give someone the full picture.
Yeah,
And I think that's why albums are important to me. Anyway, that's why I feel, especially hip hop and rap albums.
yeah.
But it's interesting. Like, yeah, Good Kid, Mad City is one of my top ones. Where do you like? Damn. What do you think of
Do you
Damn?
know what?
See,
I actually went to the Damn tour, to be fair. And I still think
yeah,
that was a good album. Um, again, obviously, to Pimp a Butterfly. I think I think Good Kid, Man City was really, really good for me. Um, but I think again, he's made Damn was good because I think Damn was. I think for me, I always like to see an evolution. Oh, listen, God on is that what God feels like? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
God on that album. Oh, what a tune! Obviously,
yeah,
Humble was always going to get and DNA is always going to get the heights and stuff like that. And I think
yeah,
the song
and
with,
Loyalty as
yeah,
well on that.
yeah, Elements tune as well.
Mm,
So he's always, and obviously, listen, the iconic album, which is the Black Panther album as well.
yeah,
Again, I think again that moved again black culture so far forward as well. Um, because I think is it King's Dead on that one?
yeah,
Is it that King's? No, there's a tune. I think it's King's Dead. But there's another
mm,
tune with but yeah, going off topic. But yeah, I think for me he's one of my favourites as well. And
yeah,
I think obviously that's what you want. You want your favourite person to release albums that you know is them. And for
yeah,
me, I know again it's another thing that you're going to talk about. That's for me what I think I don't really like when hip hop artists go that way. But we'll talk about that later.
yeah, yeah. We'll come on to that next. That's the next section, which is your hip hop hell. It's grown to be like your hip hop hell, your one, we'll call it like
Pet peeve.
thing you don't really
Yeah.
pet peeve or thing like
What really
for
grinds
people
my
who
gears
know
as Family Guy.
grind your gears.
Do
Room 101, you want to see that go down into
you
the
know
hole and
what?
never come back.
I there's two things I hate. As one is when how rap is perceived to the masses when they try and like blare like yo like that
Yeah,
annoys me, and
yeah,
how then they try to do rap and they do it in a persona that they think is rap, and that
yeah,
bugs me. That's often a wider context. For
yeah,
me, it's when an artist again tries to push the boundaries. I don't mind. I get it. I don't mind it. But then you got to understand that you don't have to do that anymore. You can. For me, like let's say, listen, Kanye is totally different.
hmm,
But for me, I've never. I don't think you would ever seen Biggie or Tupac. Again, you don't know release an album where it's not them. Do you know what I mean?
hmm,
I know people go through different stages in life and they want to release different things, and they might be only releasing certain type of music because they're on a certain label or they're tied into a certain contract and stuff like
hmm,
that. But I just feel that sometimes you've got to release what's true to you and what's true and go, you know what, this is what I like, this is what I'm fans like, and I get that sometimes that's different. But sometimes when you see artists go off and do a whole album outside their genre, and you're like, okay.
yeah,
And you know, I guess I get it. And people might say, "Oh yeah, but their music's for everyone, and they should be able to do." Yeah, I get that. That's fine. But for me, I like the artists. I like just to not stay in their lane, so to speak. Because let's say, look at Drake. Drake knows how to sonically, and I think some artists don't sonically sound good on other things.
yeah,
Um, and again, it's how they do it. But I wouldn't say it's a hip hop hell, but sometimes it gets to me like, oh, okay, you're gonna go and do this because listen, I think Drake's an amazing artist. I'm not saying we hate Drake or anything, but sometimes I'm like, you're just jumping around to what's hot right now. Like if
yeah.
next year that heavy metal is hot, he'll jump on it to just do it because do you know what I mean? He would do it because
I would
if
love to see a heavy metal Drake
if you
soundtrack.
look at what he's done, he's done pop, he's done R&B, he's done hip hop, he's done um, soca, he's done drill lately,
Yeah,
um, he's done Spanish. What do you like? He's done that because I've heard him on. I think
yeah,
something Santos. I've heard him on so many things. He's been on
yeah,
reggaeton, and it's like, is he? He's very good at his own, whatever you want to call his own genre of hip hop, rap, R&B kind of thing. But he's done a bit of everything, which again does it make him a better artist than someone else? I don't know, but sometimes it's like, right, so Western or country music comes back next. Are you going to jump on that? And it's
yeah.
like, where do you stop?
What I think that maybe not a lot of people, the mainstream, well, certainly I didn't know until maybe a year or two ago that Drake's upbringing. He grew up in an area of Canada. I think his
Yeah,
hometown is
he was on Degrassi, innit? So
yeah, his area that he grew up in was very
oh,
multicultural.
100%.
He
Listen,
grew up,
I
and that's why he moves in those.
I
John,
get
because he's
that. I 100% get that. But I think for Drake, it's cool. Do you know what I mean? I think Drake,
yeah,
yeah. But then when you like, it's like, listen. Sometimes the radio and live lounge is wicked because they do express and they do jump on different things and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I think sometimes when certain artists, you're like, this ain't for you, and you've gone and
yeah,
done it, and it's like, oh, don't know about that, and then you kind of forget about that song they have ever done it. So
yeah. I think what it sounds like both your points is that kind of like authenticity.
mm,
Like, you want someone to be authentic. Like, you don't want them to be, jumping from what's ever popular, from jumping from the next one to the next, like collabing with whoever's at the top that
mhm,
week, just jumping from that one. And you don't want again that that portrayal of hip hop to be one dimensional
mhm,
because it's not. There are people out there that are trying to be authentic to themselves. So yeah, I think that for me those are some of the things that I you know would put in hip hop, that inauthenticity, that kind of like
mm.
stereotype of what rap is, and like if you ask someone to rap, they do a certain thing, and it's like there's so many more
Hat to the side,
diverse.
hat to the
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
They might put one arm out of a t-shirt like Ja Rule, and you think, what are you lot doing?
yeah. But yeah, that. But I think it's changing now that gangster rap is more of that mumble rap is becoming that
Yeah, I know
that
which I
that
know you hate.
yeah.
Listen,
I
listen,
don't dislike it. I think
different,
it's just
not you. You can. It's easy. It's
well,
good.
there's definitely a skill to it, and you have to be good at it.
I'm gonna send you some. I'm
There's
gonna send you some mumble rap. What you perceive as mumble, I'm gonna send you some things, and you're gonna have to listen. You can tell me what you think.
yeah, because I like Migos. I like Migos.
I've been to Amigos. I've seen Future. I've seen Migos. I've seen
Yeah,
Young
Future I can't
Thug. I've
stand.
seen.
Future I don't understand. I maybe like one of his songs, but anytime he jumps on a track, I like have no idea what you're saying, and it's just that is that I don't know what you're saying, so I can't connect with it. Whereas
Yeah.
some mumble rap is very like you can get it, you could get a vibe. Whereas for me, Future, he's obviously there's obviously a draw to him. He's obviously got fans out there because he's one of the top selling artists
Mm,
the last 5 or 6 years. Um, so there's obviously something to him,
mm.
but for me, it's just like I don't get it.
Yeah,
It's
and
not- I don't get him.
I think that's okay though. I think that's what people need to understand. There's something you don't
Yeah,
really get about your own genre, but you kind of like and love. So I think
yeah,
that's the thing. You're not gonna like everything. So and that's what the beauty of music is. You're not gonna like everything, but your own favorite artists do. Some things you're gonna
yeah,
go, oh yeah, that was okay. Yeah, but I still mess with it. So,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. Well, so we'll move on to the next section, which is hip hop Mount Rushmore.
Mhm.
So I'll set the say this is your top four hip hop rap artists that if you had the money, you would get carved into the side of a mountain, basically. So explain to me. You could say who your top four are
Mhm.
straight off the bat, or you can do one by one, which way. Explain to me
I
who are your top
think
four.
this is just like naming like your favorite foods or your favorite. I think
Yeah,
no, I think because it's so like I think it would be different if you said there's only four artists that you can ever listen to and no one else. That would be harder. But I know that if they're on Mount Rushmore, I can still respect the other presidents that lived,
yeah,
and I can
no,
still eat other foods. I think for me, I'd have to go. I'd have to go Jay-Z as one.
yeah,
Um, I'd have to go Kendrick. It's not number one. I would have to go. This is just me as numbered. So
yeah,
no numerical order. Jay-Z and
mm,
Kendrick are definitely in there.
yeah,
I think the others are quite difficult for me. Again, there's honorable mentions. Do you know what? There was a whole stage where I was every song well, we had a Zen at the time.
yeah,
Was Little Wayne. Like
yeah,
there was
yeah,
a time where Little Wayne was killing it.
Yeah.
absolutely killing it. And then,
We.
yeah, like that era. But he even for me, he was still with, like, even with the Hot Boys as well. Like
Yeah.
there was a time where he was just killing it, and obviously he went a different way. And sometimes his lyrics sound a bit like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think the last two are quite difficult. I would have to, you know what, I would have to go. I'd have to go for Busta Rhymes for what for me my early listening was,
Yeah. A
and
forefather of
like, do
your
you know what I
hip
mean?
hop
As in, like,
genre.
just for me, it was one that in my early memories of what I remember hip hop and rap to be, and
Yeah.
it was just that. And I think there's, again, I'll take honorable mentions to Lil Wayne. I'll take honorable mentions. I'd have to say to Nas. I think Nas would probably be about like 5.
So far you've got Jay-Z. You're darting around the issue. You got
Yeah,
Jay-Z,
Jay-Z, Kendrick,
Kendrick, and
Rhymes.
Buster. Who's your fourth?
I think obviously for what I listen to the most and what
Yeah.
it means to me, I would have to put Nipsey in there for what I listen to
Yeah.
the most. But again, there's a
Yeah.
lot of honorable mentions of rappers and stuff like that in there for me. Like, obviously J.
Yeah.
Cole, Drake would be in there because he's a good artist. Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
Ross, Eminem,
Yeah.
as I said, Nas before as well. There's a lot of people in there that I'd say, like,
Yeah.
yeah, wow.
So
Kanye, DMX. What was I listening to the
yeah.
other day? Where my dog's at. Oh, what a tune! But the fact is, and that's the thing, it's hard to say. All right, if I put these in there, I think for me they all mean different things. It's not saying
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those are the best 4, but they mean
Yeah.
something for me. Like, I think Busta Rhymes was the earliest memory. I think
Yeah.
Jay-Z, for he's been
Yeah.
throughout, from when we were putting
Yeah.
fronting on CDs, for like mum's,
Yeah.
like, rose
Yeah.
fairs and stuff. Nipsey for what it does for me,
Yeah.
like, even obviously when he parted, I was proper, like, I remember reading it early hours of the morning, and I was proper shocked, like he was a family member. I was like, what? Like, what? So, and then obviously I think Kendrick was just a bit different, but yeah, those would be my 4.
Yeah. So you've got, Jay-Z, just because, like, explain to me why Jay-Z, like, go into a bit more, like, describe to. No, let's go back. Like, so you've got arguably the two recognized um, famous rappers of all time, famous hip hop, Tupac and Biggie. Why don't they make it into your top 4? Because that's part of this question.
Then
Is it calls back to that to see if people
they'd
come
go
in
in.
there?
They wouldn't. They'd be in my top 10,
Yeah,
but just, I think for me the top 10 means something different to me.
yeah,
The top 5 for me, obviously the Mount Rushmore for me, the hip hop Mount Rushmore for me is not about, if you said to me, right, who's the forefathers and who really, really,
mm,
yeah, but then I put the Mount Rushmore for what they mean to me. So if you're then looking at, I'd put Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, and Tupac. That is like,
mm,
and you know what I mean. And then I'd put maybe someone like Kendrick. Then I'll put Busta. Then I'll put maybe like Ludacris. But for me, I put 4 up there for what they mean to me, rather than
yeah,
4 of the best. These are the best.
yeah,
If you're talking about the best, right? The best
yeah,
of what they, at their genre, what they did, and
mm,
it would be Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, and Tupac. They will be the
yeah,
forefathers. And I remember, I think we had
yeah,
a poster. I think I had a poster in my room, actually.
yeah,
I can't remember what happened to that. I had a poster in my room
yeah,
with all the rappers and stuff like on it.
yeah,
Even 50 Cent would be in there. Can't, like, you know what I mean? But I'd put them up there for what they mean to me.
yeah. So this is like a personal
Yeah.
hip hop Mount Rushmore to you, and it is that kind of like is I deliberately make that open ended, so I don't tell you like, is it your top 4? Is it like what the top 4 is? Just like, if you could get 4 hip hop people carved on the side of the mat, who would you pick?
Mm.
And yeah, you picked one that I would pick as well, which is Jay-Z.
Mm.
I've like he like I at one point I owned all his albums, like every single, even the American Gangster one.
Listen, I wish you well. Listen, that was a good album. I like that one. That was,
Yeah, yeah,
it wasn't maybe his, even like Holy Grail was, it's not his, but there's a couple
yeah,
of tunes that you listen to, they're on there, like, yeah, okay, cool, but I get what you mean.
yeah. He's one of those that have literally he he still raps about things. That 444 album, he raps about things that still connect with me to this day,
Mm, mm, mm,
and that's why he's one of my favorite all time.
mm.
Like
Oh,
he's
Pusha T, sorry. Pusha
Yeah,
T, the clips. What? Oh gosh. Yeah, sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But he's one of those things that sticks with me throughout my whole life. I don't think I would stop listening to Jay Z, and I never put on this song and think, "Oh, I'll switch off." I
Mm.
always let it play, whatever it is. But yeah,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
this is.
You might have to
I
go.
think
You might have to do a top five. You know,
this.
I think four is a bit difficult because I want to put Biggie now because now I think it was the other week I was just listening to Biggie songs all day. So I'm gonna squeeze Biggie in there as
You're
well. I'm
gonna do a
sorry.
little biggie on the
Yeah, it's a
side.
little Biggie on the side, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh, oh. We'll go to the next subject, which is if no hip hop. So, what would describe to me your listening habits?
Oh,
What would they be,
my
or what
habits
a
are all
world
over the
be
place, man. My habits are all
without hip
over.
hop?
I'm like a kid in a candy shop sometimes. Like
Yeah,
my, I think people who've been in my car would say I listen to a lot of everything. A lot of hip hop and rap is probably my predominant genre.
yeah,
And I like listen to new rappers that's come out. So if there's a rapper that comes out, people are like, oh yeah. And sometimes I do like the ones that I feel it's a bit like no one else listens to them, so I want to listen
mm,
to. Um, so for me, I do like I listen to R&B, soul. I'll listen to early Motown. I'll listen to some pop songs, Uh, and that's like what I said before. I think music's for everyone, so I don't think there's a genre
yeah,
that you should always just exclude because
yeah,
if you start to then exclude genres, then you find yourself kind of hating that you like something where you should be like, oh, it's fine if I like um certain songs. Like, listen, I've got,
yeah,
as I said to you before, I caught myself watching a bloody McFly documentary, and I was like, this song's alright, but it's not a thing of I'm
yeah,
gonna go out and watch McFly or I'm gonna go out and buy a McFly album. It's just the fact that I think that song's cool. That's fine. I've
yeah.
listened to a Shawn Mendes song, and I thought, yeah, this is cool.
You know
Um,
what? Shawn Mendes' album is really
yeah,
good. So,
do you know what I mean? So it's not.
yeah,
I think for me, if there wasn't, I'd obviously, if you said, all right, you have to take all hip hop and rap out of your own music, but I think hip hop and rap has influenced so much other things. So I think for people to remove certain genres from certain things, people have been influenced by certain people. Even your favorite rappers have been influenced by rock musicians and this and that. So
yeah,
then you've got reggae, you've got soca, you've got bashment, you've got drill,
mm,
you've got my genres. I've got some like the Gypsy Kings of Bombalette. I've got like the reggaeton. I've
yeah,
got the salsa music. I've got all this stuff
yeah,
on my music platform. Let's use the word now, music platform.
yeah,
I've got so much stuff on my music platform that I don't think house music. I've got dubstep. I've got garage. I've got UK funky. UK funky. Like let's say 2008 to 2010. Wow. Listen,
yeah,
I was in my element. Yeah. So many genres on my thing, and that's what I always say. Like you can't disregard one genre. Like there'll be some classical that you hear and you think, oh, this is good.
yeah,
And I think if you people are, oh yeah, I really like music, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then oh yeah, but I only like drill, or I only like hip hop, or I only like pop, or I only like
mm,
K-pop. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no
yeah,
point in saying you like music. Say if you say, oh, I only listen to drill, cool, that's fine, but you've sometimes got to broaden your horizons because they've been influenced by so much other things. So if you think about one of Heady One's songs, got is it Heather Small in there? You're
yeah,
free. Like do you know what I mean? So there's influences from everywhere because people draw
mm,
on it and people listen to it and stuff like that. And I think one of Skepta's songs got Sophie Alex Beck's, like it's got the whole
yeah,
thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
yeah.
So I think
Even was it Stormzy's song? It's got Tracy Ellis Speaker. No, Tracy
Tracy
Beaker on
Beaker.
it.
So there's so many. Do
Beaker.
you know what I mean? So there's so much
Yeah,
other influences as well. So I think for me, if no hip hop, yes, it'll be. But I've got other stuff. I can listen to other stuff as well. And
yeah,
sometimes I want to listen to some R&B. I want to listen to
yeah,
some slow jams and stuff like that. I want to listen to
yeah,
some um, reggae. I want to listen to some classic. Like, do you know, I
mm,
want to listen to other stuff. I think you can't
yeah,
sometimes just. There's going to be people in the world who just like one thing, and that's fine.
yeah,
You might just only like a certain type of biscuits and only biscuits, but then sometimes you're gonna eat another biscuit. So you can't say, "Oh, I don't like those biscuits." You're gonna have a biscuit. So
yeah. That's really interesting because I thought you would be, you mentioned R&B and maybe soul and maybe like music of like our Caribbean culture,
mm,
but I wouldn't put you as someone that would be like salsa,
Listen,
Gypsy Kings
what's his
and stuff.
my boy Hector Lavoe, or whatever his name is. I can't remember what his name is. I can't remember how you spell it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
you're trying not to say just a stereotypical salsa name.
no,
You're
I
trying
think
to
it's Hector Lavoe. It's like Hector
yeah,
Lavoe. Got some bangers.
yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I think there's one song by
yeah,
Mark Anthony does one song. Hey,
yeah,
listen, when you get those Nando's hips swinging, listen, it is a tune. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I think I listen to a lot of different things, and I think that's the thing. I think it's Angry Lee. Angry Lee, Angry Lee, na, na, na. Listen,
yeah,
listen. If I'll send you some bits. Listen, when I say it is, and when you're driving, your hips like. And I think that's the thing. You've got to, if you listen to music, you should be able to hear the beauty or the brilliance in everything. But there's one song. It was. I think it was in one of the Spider-Man films. Ah, was it Nickelback?
uh, possibly there was a Nickelback song for one of the Spider-Man films.
Only a hero can save us.
Yeah, yeah, that
What
one.
a
That,
tune that
that
is! And then you got
yeah,
then you got stuff like um wake me up is can't let stay. Listen, and the weirdest thing is, I think with music as well, you just catch yourself singing songs, and you don't know where they're just stuck in your head. And it's not
yeah,
because you don't go, "Oh, why am I singing this song?" But you just you kind of relate it
yeah,
back to a time, because I remember those two songs were always on MTV Base,
yeah,
always on it every time it just comes around, and
yeah,
you get to something like, actually, no, like the songs are cool. They're
yeah,
not bad. But yeah, I don't think I have those on my music platform,
yeah,
but I listen to everything, man. I think everything, you should be able to appreciate everything.
yeah. So the next topic, and like one of the final topic, is like your recommendations or your future of what. Tell me your opinion of what the future of hip hop looks like. Hip hop is, started in the late '60s, early '70s,
Mm.
and you think about it now, it's coming up to its midlife of its
Midlife crisis.
it's a midlife crisis, midlife point in its evolution of its thing. And what do you think that future holds for it? Because there's so much out there
I
now.
think this. I think, do you know what the beautiful thing is? I think sort of drills going through that early bit as well, where I think
Mm,
drills going through maybe the early bit of getting that
mm,
globalization, whereas hip hop has done that globalization and it's kind of
mm.
watching. And I think even grime has done that as well. Grime has gone through the
Yeah,
globalization where people are starting to like grime artists all over the world. I think people learn the drill. I think it's hip hop. People now understand that people do come from these walks of life. However, I do feel
mm,
that now hip hop's at a stage where there's a lot of underground rappers who will keep doing their thing, but there's a lot of rappers that will make it straight away to the the big time and get that
mm.
fame. I think the beauty of what maybe hip hop now has, and let's say drill and grime, because that's what we essentially got over here in garage and stuff like that.
Mm.
It's now at the forefront of a lot of media. It's at the forefront of a lot of minds. It's at the
Yeah,
forefront of a lot of TV. It's getting that exposure. So a lot of people who are talented and
yeah,
feel like they never had a chance before to make it, because for them to make it was a one in a million chance. It still is a one, but
yeah,
now there is a platform for everybody to do well.
yeah,
You're seeing a lot more hip hop or rap or drill or grime, especially on British TV as well.
yeah,
Headline or headline shows, or have be on TV shows, be TV guests, be sound
yeah.
bites, be the backtrack to
Was
advert.
it DEE was on
IKEA,
IKEA?
madness, absolute madness.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think the future's bright. I think there's a lot of people that will do
yeah,
well. And I said, as I said, music's for everyone. So it's just I think the future's bright because everyone can do their own bit, and there's so
mm,
many more platforms for people to survive on. And
yeah,
again, so many people now booking spaces and stuff like that. And then you've got stuff like the BET Awards and the
yeah,
Mobile Awards and stuff like that doing well over here.
yeah,
But again, there's a lot more room for people to survive, and a lot more um, labels will actually go, let's pick up this artist. And a lot of people are starting their own labels.
yeah,
So I think the future is quite bright for it.
yeah. Tell me what your recommendations. Who would you know
Ah,
tell people to go out and listen to? What? Give me three.
recommendations. Oh gosh, that's
Yeah,
that's quite difficult actually. Um, if anybody's not listening, doesn't listen to anything grime, listen to grime for a little bit. I've done the grime and drill. Just listen to it, see what you think. Again, it's not going to be everybody's taste. Everybody, oh, I don't really like this because it glorifies this
What
and that.
grime artist would you say? What
Oh,
pick one grime artist?
I can listen. I can probably listen to anything Gets makes. To be fair,
Yeah,
so I'd say
he's got a
that.
new album out, Proud Family.
Yeah,
That's out
listen
soon.
to
Well, is it
that.
out? It's out now.
I would say people to listen to rap. If we're talking about rap and hip hop, I'd
Yeah,
definitely say Nick Grant.
yeah.
Yeah, Nick Grant. I like Nick Grant. This is difficult actually. I didn't think this would be that difficult. Nick Grant. I had it in my head, now it's gone. It's gone now.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, that's two good, ones for people to go out and, like, yeah, I definitely think,
Dave East.
Dave East. Yeah,
Dave East. J Rock would be my
yeah,
three. Those would be my three that
yeah,
if I wanted to see people live, I would say Nick Grant would be really good to see. Like Dave East
yeah,
would be Dave East. Yeah, Dave East is like I got a lot of Dave East songs, to be fair.
yeah,
And J Rock. If J Rock comes, I want to. Oh, and Baz
yeah. Oh, I like Baz's too.
From
Baz's my one.
Drewville. Yeah, I would say those are my
Yeah,
four that I like a lot.
yeah, yeah. That's cool. There's some good recommendations. I think. Yeah, I definitely think like the whole point of this podcast for me was to show people their different kind of like hip hop and rap, especially seen as this one particular type of music that
Hmm.
we see. But there's so much more out there. Like, people, there's people out there who've never heard of Nick Grant or, Davies or Baz, or never listened to grime or
Mm.
only listen to, grime that's played on, Stormzy, for example. Nothing against Stormzy. I rate him. I
Yeah,
think he's one of
100%.
the good, but they would only listen to
There's
Stormzy.
so many there's so many other people like
So many other
Young's
people. And
Teflons.
yeah,
Like there's so many.
and they would only listen to as well what's current now. They wouldn't listen to, like, I
The
think
back catalogue.
between me, I think us two, we had the same kind of approach. We're like, right, we like this artist. Let's
What?
go on
Yeah.
to a
What have they
legal
made?
form of downloading albums
Yeah.
and get the whole back catalogue and listen to it
And
all. I
I
think
think
that,
that's the thing about people need to understand about drill and grime. It's not just what we've heard in the last 2 years. Do you know? There's so much more that's happened before that, and it's good to see artists now, especially in the UK, getting that bit of right recognition, and people are researching that back catalogue.
yeah,
But don't just take for what you see on TV
yeah,
or what you hear on the radio now as this is the only thing that they've ever
yeah,
made. Do you know what I mean? So I think even Stormzy was making songs back in 2011, I think, or
yeah,
2012. I think he did a song on a Justin Bieber. Um, he did a remix of Justin Bieber song, I think, and I think that's
yeah,
the first time I heard him. And obviously, he didn't really come out till a couple of years after that as well, but or didn't make it really shine. So I think that's what people need to understand as well. Not
yeah.
take.
I think it's all about, it's just about exploring what's out there.
Mm.
I think that's really, really key. So yeah, but yeah, thanks for coming on and speaking. That was our last, kind of
Yep,
section, and I really appreciate it. I know, you know, you've always supported anything I've done, and
always.
vice versa.
Yeah,
I've
always will.
always. But do you have anything to plug or to say, or
I ain't got nothing to plug.
no,
I think
not got nothing to plug?
I'll already probably get in trouble for mentioning one of the platforms. But no,
Yeah,
I think just as I said, I think music's for everybody. I think as you said, I don't really understand Future, but I'd say then try and listen to a little bit more of it and just try and do a
yeah,
back catalogue and stuff like that. I just think for me, I would always say again, music's for everyone. I don't think anybody should discount or disregard any other type of music. You
yeah,
might not like what's on the radio from that artist. You might not like what they're doing, but there's going to be some things what they do that's actually quite good, and you listen to the
yeah,
talent of what they are. Listen, there's going to be some people you think like you only hear and you're rubbish. You only make bangers, and I think it's even honorable mention to stuff like kind of parodies as well, because
yeah,
there's going to be listen like Michael Dapper's Big Shaq. It's not that's him doing a joke. It's doing a joke of it. He's not gonna go, I want to be a rapper. This is what I'm gonna do.
yeah,
And Minya Chihuahua, his owner and Pete, it's not gonna be a he's not saying I want to be a rapper. It's just him just doing it. It's comedy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I think people need to sometimes take. That's not hip hop and that's not rap. It's what it is. But yeah, I'd say don't discount what people like. Any type of genre. Listen to music. Just because you like one genre doesn't mean you can't listen to one of it. And you're not a fake hip hop and rap fan if you listen to one other genre, or you go to a concert that's not a hip hop and rap. But music's for everyone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks, bro, for coming on.
No problem.
And I'll speak to you soon. I'm going to speak to you after this.
Yeah.
I'll just say that to end it. But yeah, I'll speak to you in a bit. See you later. Yeah.
Bye.
So that was the episode. As we go, the sound quality will improve. You won't hear me mid-episode open a bottle of 7-Up. But yeah, if you want to come on, let me know. It's open to everyone. I'm by no means an expert in hip-hop. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, or at least it inspired you to do something you've been putting off. And see you next time. Bye.